Well, if you go to the far end of the tunnel down by Slateford, what you've got is a 17-metre long, 7-metre high, really ugly brick wall which is covered in graffiti. Is a picture of Colinton Station as it would have been round about 1890, maybe 1900. There's the station master's house at the top. This is the Jacob's Ladder coming down, and this is the grumpy old guy called John Kerr who used to stand there and just bellow at the passengers. And what we've got down below is a whole bunch of folk waiting for the train, which has come out the tunnel, so it's actually on its way to Balerno. In those days, Balerno was a community of about 150, 200 people. And you can see the driver there. We actually know his grandson, and the grandson has a photograph of the guy who was driving the train in those days, which is great to have. But if you look at the engine, wee-short engine, very powerful, wee-short carriages, and that was so they could go around the tight curves and up and down the steep gradients. And the faces in there are not going to be made up, they're going to be people who have asked to be in the mural. We're taking photographs of people who visit the exhibition, and what you'll have is real people waiting on a real station for a real train. One of the reasons we chose Chris Rutterford and his team was because they had such an exciting design concept. Everybody who tendered for the contract got the same pack of information, but what Chris did was create a story, and he created a story by taking a poem by Robert Louis Stevenson called From a Railway Carriage. The poem was written somewhere between 1883 and 1885, and it goes faster than fairies, faster than witches, bridges and houses, hedges and ditches. And I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it's the sound of a railway train. You think of that clickety-clack, clickety-clack, clickety-clack.
Faster than fairies, faster than witches, bridges and houses, hedges and ditches, and charging along like troops in a battle, all through the meadows, the horses and cattle. All of the sights of the hill and the plain fly as thick as driving rain, and ever again in the wink of an eye painted stations whistle by. Here is a child who clambers and scrambles all by himself and gathering brambles. Here is a tramp who stands and gazes, and there is the green for stringing the daisies. Here is a cart run away in the road, lumping along with man and load. And here is a mill, and there is a river, each a glimpse and gone forever.
What Chris has decided to do, and what got him the job, is that one side of the tunnel will be that entire poem, but the poem story is going to be illustrated. So fairies, witches, bridges, houses, ditches, etc. But on the other side of the tunnel, he will connect the poem to Colinton's history. So it starts, we didn't have that many witches in Colinton, but we may have had the odd one or two. But it starts with the Balerno pug firing up the railway line. And for example, charging along like troops in a battle meets Wilfred Owen, Siegfried Sassoon. And under here, the regimental crests of every single unit that's been in Colinton, both Redford Barracks and Dreghorn Barracks, since they were opened. And that's how it works all the way along. Left-hand side of the tunnel, the poem, then these beautiful images coming over the roof, and we end up, for example, here. Ever again, in the wink of an eye, painted stations whistle by. Well, Colinton was a nicely painted station, and there's another shot of a crowd waiting for the train as it appears from somewhere. I'm not quite sure where that one's coming from. In fact, that bridge doesn't exist in Colinton, but we'll ignore that. And so it goes, and right through to the very, very end, and finally you see Robert Louis Stevenson maybe reflecting on what it was that he wrote. It's going to be amazing.